Welcome to the NFL Pick'em Podcast with your host, Anthony Kruszka. Each episode, I will go through some of the highlights from the previous week's games and give an update on which homeroom has the highest number of correct picks. Now, let's kick this show off. Welcome. This is week 3 of the NFL Pick'em Podcast, and I am your host, Anthony Kruszka. Real quick, I'm going to go through all the games, who won, who lost. So here we go. On Thursday, we had the Browns taking on the Steelers. Browns won. And then on Sunday, we got Chicago beating Houston, Tennessee beating Las Vegas, Indianapolis beating Kansas City, Miami beating Buffalo, the Vikings beating Detroit, Baltimore beating New England, Bengals beating the Jets, the Eagles beating Washington, Carolina beat New Orleans, Jacksonville beat the Chargers, LA Rams taking down Arizona, Atlanta beating Seattle, Green Bay beating Tampa Bay, and Denver beating San Francisco, and the Cowboys beat the Giants on Monday night. Okay, now we're going to give some of our input on all the games. I got Zane Dively here to talk about his loss, the Steelers' loss. So here we go.
Oh, boy, what do I have to say about this one? I mean, being a fan of the Steelers, I'm not used to us being this bad, but, man, it's, brutal. It's like watching a chess game in the middle of the football field. I mean, Matt Canada doesn't extend the ball. They talked to Tomlin. He has no intentions in changing anything. I love Mike Tomlin, but what in the world is he thinking? I mean, it's just terrible. To lose to the Cleveland Browns, what is the play call? I can't wrap my head around it. It's just brutal. Mitch Trubisky has the same eyesight as Stevie Wonder trying to play music in the 70s. It's awful. I mean, and then what is this? You're going to do 3 screen passes to George Pickens after he makes the catch of the decade. I mean, it's unbelievable. He only passes to Deontay Johnson. Najee Harris is going to have spaghetti legs by the end of the season. It's terrible. I mean, the offensive line, everything about it. TJ Watt's gone, so now they can just run all over us like it's a track meet out there. It's terrible. I hate it. Being a Steelers fan, I mean, it's just awful. I'm not used to it, and it makes me angry.
And let me talk about the Browns a little bit. David Njoku had a game, and David Njoku had a great game. Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt were sort of quiet this game, but they still had their part. Jacoby Brissett looked actually pretty decent against this Pittsburgh secondary. They didn't take too many sacks because of TJ Watt being out, but it was just a rough loss for Pittsburgh, and I wonder what they're going to look like next week.
Right, and do we really think Pickens' catch, is that really the catch of the decade? What do you think about that?
It's up there.
Of the 2020s,
it's up
for
there.
Sure.
It's up there.
I haven't seen anything better.
That was amazing.
I haven't seen anything better. I mean, I'm a biased standpoint. I'm a Steelers fan, but from this decade, I think it's the best we've seen since Odell.
It was a great catch.
It's the best we've seen since Odell.
I was just about to say, do you think it's comparable to Odell's catch?
It's
yes
very
and no.
similar.
Yes
very
and no.
similar.
Just the thing is with Odell's catch, it was on a pass interference, and it was a touchdown.
Yeah.
Right.
So,
That is true.
but George Pickens, that was amazing.
It was still, yeah.
All right, let's move on to the Titans and Raiders.
Titans won. It was 24-22.
Derrick Henry looked really good. I'm surprised. I thought he was going to have a really quiet season, but he's looking like prime Derrick Henry now. He had a great game. I think he had 2 touchdowns, 1 on the ground, 1 receiving.
Yep.
Raiders, man, the Raiders defense has just been disappointing.
Despicable.
They just did not make the moves necessary in this offseason. And Raiders offense looked all right. Derek Carr's having a down year, I feel like. Even with Devontae Adams was pretty quiet this game.
Yeah, I would agree.
Kevin Byard had a great game. Kevin Byard's looking like top 3 safety, like usual. But, it was just another disappointing loss.
Yeah, and the Raiders, the only team that has not won a game yet. So
yeah, it's surprising.
The Texans are 0-1-2.
Well,
they're 0-2-1. They have a tie.
But yeah, they're the only
0-3 team.
Yeah, that Raiders offense really should have torched that defense. Honestly,
I can't believe it's the Raiders that are the
Right.
last team.
Yeah, in the AFC West, I thought they were going to put up a good fight, and I thought Derek Carr was going to have a great
I
season.
thought they'd finish third.
Josh Jacobs played all right. He played decent, honestly, but Hunter Renfrow, I think was he out this game? I'm not 100% sure. If he was, it doesn't really matter. He didn't make much noise if he wasn't.
It's disappointing for fantasy, too. Usually
Yes.
the Raiders usually have a few good guys
big
to play.
hitters. They have big hitters.
And it's just it hasn't been good.
Yeah. All right, next game, Indy versus Kansas City.
Yep.
Indy pulling up an upset on the Chiefs, 20-17. Wow. Patrick Mahomes had a quiet game, and this Chiefs defense is not looking great. Jonathan Taylor didn't do as much as expected. Pittman had a good game.
Pittman's back. Yes, sir.
Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan's looking bad, but he played all right. He was a good game manager in this game, but Kansas City should have closed that game out multiple times. They had multiple opportunities to get defensive stops, and they just didn't get it.
Indy is so good at beating great football teams, but I mean, it's the pressure that gets to them. You know, you're supposed to beat a team and you can't live up to the expectations. But going into this week, everybody thought they'd get slaughtered by the Chiefs.
I thought the same.
And they sneaked away. Pittman's looking like he has potential to be a top 10 receiver in the league at this point.
For sure.
He's a stud.
He is a stud. This is true. This is very true. Matt Ryan is not much of an upgrade for Carson Wentz. I will say it right now. Carson Wentz and Matt Ryan are looking pretty similar.
They're pretty similar.
Yeah.
Yeah. Almost the same.
All right. Miami versus Buffalo, 20-19 for the Dolphins. Tua got hurt. I think it was in the third quarter. But, man, that Buffalo offense was just not clicking. Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis both had really quiet games. Dawson Knox didn't play too well. Josh Allen, that closing drive hurt to watch. And then the Bills are still the Super Bowl favorites, but this Dolphins team is looking good. This Dolphins team shut down the Buffalo offense completely. Stephon Diggs and Gabe Davis just did not do enough.
What do you think about them letting Tua back in the game? Do you think that was a concussion, or do you think it really was a back issue?
I'm not 100% sure. I wouldn't have risked it, but in this type of game, it's 50-50 on me for me, honestly. I wouldn't have put him back in, but they still got the win either way. Hopefully Tua's back and healthy. He's looking a lot better than I thought he would. He's playing great.
Yeah, hopefully he can make a speedy recovery and come back. I'd really like to see the Dolphins win. It's exciting, especially taking down the Bills.
For sure.
They're our Super Bowl favorites.
For sure.
So, yeah.
The AFC East is looking actually pretty competitive, surprisingly.
Yeah. Okay. So now we got Vikings. They took down Detroit. Me and Andrew very sad. 28-24.
What a heartbreaker.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Man.
Terrible.
Man, the things I want to say right now, I just can't say on live. Detroit, man. We looked so good in that first half, and we just completely blew it. That Vikings defense is awful, and we still blew it. That secondary, it does not help that Amon-Ra and DeAndre Swift were both coming off ankle injuries. So they're both questionable before coming in. They both played. Amon-Ra, he played all right. He didn't have a touchdown or anything. Jamal Williams had a game. Jamal Williams is looking really
Jamal
good.
is a stud.
Dalvin Cook went down with an injury as well. I think it's Peterson. I don't remember what his last name is. Anyway, he played pretty decent. The backup Vikings quarterback or running back. Kirk Cousins played all right. Justin Jefferson was really quiet, but that just opened.
Yeah, Jeff
Okudah played a great game.
He's actually panning out now.
Yeah, for sure. We double-teamed Justin Jefferson the entire game, but that just left unlimited opportunities for the Vikings.
Right.
I will say, it gets me so angry. I see everybody blaming Dan Campbell for this loss. I would not consider it Dan Campbell's fault. Did you not see what Amorie was doing in the back?
Oh, yeah.
True.
Oh, my gosh. He threw that game away.
Over 100 yards and penalties. Just brutal.
First game back, he gets 6 penalties on it. Oh, my gosh. It was every other play, illegal touching, pass interference.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. Obviously, one person can't, decide a game, but
he definitely helped. He was definitely the Vikings paid him something, I'm sure. And also that call to some of it's on Dan Campbell because that call to kick that 60-yard field goal when we were going for it on fourth down almost every play. We were like 75% on fourth down, and we still kicked a 58-yard field goal. Austin Seibert, wide left, wide right, doesn't matter either way. We should have won this game. We should be going 2-1, but the Vikings. Oh man, this NFC North. We'll probably be third or fourth. It's kind of we should be competing for a wild card spot, and we're really not.
Okay, so now we got Bengals versus the Jets. Bengals won 27-12. Yeah.
Joe Flacco looked like Jets Flacco, not Ravens Flacco. Garrett Wilson was pretty quiet. Breece Hall was pretty quiet. Actually, I think Breece Hall scored their only touchdown. I'm pretty sure.
I think so.
But Bengals. This is a good warm up for them going into tougher matchups. Definitely getting back in the swing of things. I mean, this is a bad Jets team, though. I I wouldn't be too confident if you're a Bengals fan that the Bengals are going to come back to Super Bowl form.
Yep.
So, T. Higgins had a good game. He got hit in the head really hard. Sadly, he's on my team. He's on my fantasy team. The Jets' run defense was playing really well. They kept Joe Mixon at like 30 yards, which is really surprising, but which is also disappointing for me because Joe Mixon's also on my team. But it's okay. Jamar Chase also didn't have very good of a game, but the Bengals still squeezed out a victory. They should have been by more, but it's a good momentum shifter for sure.
Okay, now we got Jacksonville. They beat the Chargers 38-10. It's an upset.
Yeah, Travis, that Jacksonville backfield looks really good.
James Robinson
And Travis Etienne look like
Yeah.
bona fide. That's going to be a good backfield going forward. And Trevor Lawrence is really showing his potential right now. He played really good. Christian Kirk had a good game. Chargers had a lot of injuries. Justin Herbert, Keenan Allen.
Mhm.
That offense was just not firing at any
It's
cylinders.
just sad. Yeah.
And it looked bad. And that defense just got torched.
Well, you got to blame the Chargers doctors here. Have you seen
yeah.
what they've done to
Justin
Herbert?
Yeah.
It's the same doctor
That was
who
criminal.
punctured Tyrod Taylor's lung.
Yep.
With the same shot, the same cortisone shot. I mean, it's brutal. And I will say my main takeaway from this game, I love seeing Trevor Lawrence do good. I love the new thing they got going on in Jacksonville. I think they could sneak in a wild card spot.
Oh, for sure.
They seem like that kind of team. Doug Peterson's a great coach. He's a Super Bowl winning coach. And Trevor Lawrence has some of the best talent we've seen in a long time from the quarterback position. I think he gives me a little bit of he reminds me a bit of Peyton Manning.
Oh, yeah.
The awful rookie
Yes.
season, and then you come back and you
Oh, yeah.
put up numbers like this. He could be very good.
And
for
the
a
thing with
very
Trevor
long
Lawrence,
time.
he's the comparisons to Peyton Manning. He's also a decently mobile quarterback, which is a big plus for the Jacksonville Jaguars. He's probably a bona fide star in about 3 weeks. And that AFC South, I could see him sneaking and winning it. To be honest with you, Jacksonville's probably going to have like a 10-7 record. Surprisingly, and that
Yeah.
defense also looked really well. Josh Allen, the other Josh Allen, played really well. Miles Jack had a good game. Miles Jack's not on the Jaguars anymore. What am I saying? Anyway.
Overall, they were surprising and good win for them.
Yeah.
Now we got Green Bay versus Tampa. They won by 2.
This was a
Very
very
hard
boring
game to watch.
Very boring game.
You
It was
see-
a defensive game.
You see
Yeah.
Rodgers, you see Brady, you expect the shootout, and it doesn't happen.
No.
Just brutal. I mean, they're both looking so past their prime.
Yeah,
It's not looking good. Rodgers doesn't have any receivers open.
very true. Very true.
And it's just not a good look for either team. I don't see either of these teams contending anytime soon for any. I mean, they'll make a playoff spot,
Yeah.
but do I see them winning anything realistically? Not unless we see Brady turn back to the form that he was, and Aaron Rodgers is still Aaron Rodgers. I don't see him making
Yeah.
it past the NFC Championship game. So
Yeah.
Poor guy. This was going to be – the passing game was just not there, and the running game wasn't there either. Both defenses played out of their mind. This game was supposed to be a shootout, but both defenses played well. Aaron Jones, A.J. Dillon shut down. Leonard Fournette completely shut down.
I think part of that maybe for Tom Brady, Mike Evans was still out, so I don't know if that affected
Chris
him at all.
Godwin, he has no
Yeah,
receivers.
he is like
Aaron Rodgers
nobody.
has no
But
receivers.
he has nobody too. So we'll see. I think Mike Evans will be back next week. But
Good win for Green Bay, though, for sure.
now we got another weird scoring game.
Very weird.
Broncos beat the 49ers 11-10.
Russell Wilson's not looking like the answer. I mean, he did not play very well against this defense at all. He took a lot of sacks. That O-line was just getting absolutely brutalized by Bosa. Oh, my gosh. Yeah,
I will say Javonte Williams had a great game.
he was playing well.
He had a good game. Jimmy G freeing Dan
That
Orlovsky.
runs straight out the end zone.
Freeing Dan Orlovsky from all the pain and the memes in the past years.
Yeah.
Putting that back foot right on the end of the end zone, getting the safety. Just brutal.
Oh, my gosh, yeah. That was more of like a laugh fest than an actual NFL game. It was another defensive game. Cortland Sutton played well. Russell Wilson, that was the 3-and-out. The Broncos went 3-and-out like 15 times. It was brutal.
He should be paying the punter $200.
Yeah, that's what
I saw
yeah.
that. Eli Manning said the $245 million contract, and
Yeah,
you're just
he's
not looking good.
Putting up what
Broncos country is not riding.
Oh,
Yeah.
Russ
They're
isn't cooking. He's making cereal. That's what he's doing.
Yeah. He's not doing it very well.
All right, and then we got the last game Monday night. Cowboys beat the Giants 23-16.
Yeah, two bad teams battling it
Yeah.
out. The Cowboys are going to win the NFC East.
Right.
No, they're not. What am I saying? Gosh, what am I saying? No, they're going to be second. Cooper Rush has been a decent game manager. He's been surprising. Replacing Dak Prescott, maybe?
Maybe.
I hope so. Dak Prescott is overrated. But besides that, the Giants' offense was not really clicking. Giants' defense is absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
So,
I'd say the only good
Tony
thing.
Pollard had a game.
Yeah.
Tell you what, from a Penn State point of view,
Yeah.
fan, I am loving that Saquon is back.
Yeah.
It makes me so happy. He looks like his vintage self again. I mean, he's so fast. He
Yeah.
had that Barry Sanders potential out of
Yeah.
college. He got hurt. I was so worried.
Yeah.
He is so good.
He's back.
I'm glad he's back.
He's back for good this
But that
time.
Cowboys defense definitely shut him down. Daniel Jones was getting brutalized in the
Saquon
pocket.
had a great game though. It wasn't as much Saquon getting shut down as Daniel Jones getting ruined in the pocket.
Yeah. Saquon could have had if Daniel Jones wasn't getting absolutely brutalized. I mean, Saquon would have had a lot bigger part in the passing game for sure.
And I'll tell you what, another Penn State name drop, Micah Parsons.
Oof.
He's looking like the defensive player of the
he's
year right
playing
now.
like a madman.
He is.
If
looking
TJ
like-
Watt wasn't out, that would be a good run. But Micah Parsons looking like the favorite for defensive player of the year.
And after that game against the Browns, do you count out Minka Fitzpatrick in the defensive player of the year?
I don't count him out, but I'm saying Micah Parsons. I think he's more of he gets more stats.
I think Minka Fitzpatrick's third in tackles right now.
Yeah,
He's got 2 picks to his name. The Browns just weren't going to throw his way. He knows.
yeah.
They know that is the whole Steelers defense right now.
Yeah, and
Pretty
that's why
much.
Njoku had
Minka
such a good game
Fitzpatrick.
because he was just lining up opposite. He wasn't
No,
lining
he
up
was lining up against Witherspoon.
Yeah, he
who
was- yeah,
brutal
Witherspoon
out
played-
there.
off. Back to the Browns game, I guess. Anyways, the Dallas defense played pretty well. They're looking all right. They're a middle pack team. They might get a wild card spot. They'll lose in the first round.
Feeling
but-
All right, so there you have it. That was the games for the week. Now I'm going to send it over to Braden Vineyard for the homeroom report.
Welcome. My name's Braden Vineyard, and I'm going to do the homeroom report for you guys. So here are the stat lines. Mr. West, Miss Priest, and Miss Richter had 9 correct picks this week. They're your leaders. Congratulations. Dennis, Meinhardt, and Gil at the bottom with only 5 correct picks. Mr. Dennis, come on, you got to step it up. Earl and McMahon take the overall lead through all 3 weeks with 29 correct picks. That's pretty impressive if you ask me. But the one thing we're all wondering, the Weber watch, how's Weber doing? He didn't pick this week. There's no Weber. Where is Weber?
All right, big thanks to Braden Vineyard. Good stuff on the report. We do need to know where Weber is. You got to get those picks in, buddy. All right, so good week 3. That's it. We'll see you guys next week. Thanks for listening.